A lot of love from enthusiasts, but I thought it was pretty disappointing. At this point, the rest of the rides were opening up, so we made our way over to the boss. And if you've been to Six Flags St. Louis, you know that just getting to this ride station is an absolute hike. This CCI Woody is an absolute monster, and it has a unique layout, but I found it to be lacking in airtime and delivering in headaches.
No.
And getting 360 video. And on that photo lap, I stupidly decided to ride Boss for a second time. I knew I would feel bad if I only got one ride, and the line had grown a bit at this point, but it still wasn't too bad. I had basically the same experience the second time around. So, RMC, if you can please, thank you.
Eureka! One of the most controversial coasters that I know of resides at my home park of Six Flags St. Louis in Eureka, Missouri. Known as the Boss, it is a Custom Coasters International, or CCI for short, wooden coaster, and I love it. But what makes it so good? Today, I will be giving my thoughts on the Boss at Six Flags St. Louis. To begin, we need to go back in time to 2016, the year that I took my first ride on this beauty. I hated it. It was a middle row ride and I found it far too rough to really enjoy, not to mention that at the time I didn't like laterals. I rode it one more time in the 2017 season, and again I was not a fan. I was all for the RMC Boss hype train. This didn't change throughout 2018, but in 2019 a switch was flipped. I met a couple other coaster enthusiasts my age, both of whom loved Boss. I thought they were insane and made that very clear for a long time before we were finally able to go to Six Flags together. I was doubtful, but I let them take me onto the ride. In the second to back row, I expected very little of my opinion to change. We went up the lift hill, around the curve before the drop, and then, boom, the drop. I was sold. I liked the Boss. Thanks to Coaster Dog and August, who knows who he is, for showing me how good this thing actually is. Let's go through a POV element by element and break down everything about the Boss. Starting on the lift hill, what a view! If you sit in the back row and look right behind you, it is gorgeous, especially at night. From there, you go straight into the best part of the ride, the insane sequence of elements. It starts with the drop. This isn't a steep drop at all, having an angle of only 52 degrees, but it launches you. You feel like you are being thrown into space with the standing airtime you get. You do have to have a lot of room, but when you get it, it is ridiculous. Following this drop is a straight section that appears deceivingly boring. In reality, it has a slight downward slant that you can enjoy the speed on you have while gaining more. This is also the straight section of track that teaches you that the Boss is rough. Except for the front row, you will be getting some minor jackhammering on this coaster. However, if you can look past that, there's a whole lot of more good stuff to come. This straight section leads into a tiny dip that yet again throws you out of your seat in a violent manner. It is ridiculous. You then start an odd kind of double up. It begins with a rising turn that is barely banked, giving insane laterals. I will be using the word insane a lot. This turn is the first up. It levels up and dips down just a little bit, just enough to give you strong floater. A big rise leads into a break that is still a great element. This is a massive flat turnaround that offers some nice laterals and a moment to breathe, but it doesn't last long. You are quickly thrown down into the roughest but also most lateral filled part of the ride, with a little wavy turn that yet again lacks banking. You will be running into either the person next to you or the side of the train, it's just a fact. Another rise into another turnaround sends you into what is probably the most disappointing part of the ride. Without the mid-course brake run, you would be sent down another massive drop with speed before it, giving crazy airtime in the back. However, there is instead a very harsh section of block brakes. So harsh that on many rides it brings the train to a halt. So instead of ejector, you get mild floater. The next element is another huge and lackluster turnaround. It is very slow going into it, and sometimes it feels like you might fall back in valley. The train dips down through the turn that for whatever reason feels super sketchy before going back up and dropping out, giving a solid floater pop in the back, and, like most of the ride, no airtime in the front. After regaining a lot of the speed the mid-course took, you enter a small rising turn that will give you some more great laterals, but it is forgettable in the end. The following hill looks great from off-ride, but is disappointing when you actually get on, as it has no airtime except for the extremely mild floater in the front row. Another mild turn is next, before the 540-degree helix. The last few elements have been disappointing, but oh boy, this one isn't. This thing is so lateral filled and amazing, and man, I love it! Wait, what? They removed arguably the best element on the ride? You've gotta be kidding me. So instead of this amazing helix, you hit another disappointing element with an average turn. At least the double up after tries to make up for it with a quick ejector pop. The Boss is a beautiful ride to watch off-ride, but unfortunately, there aren't too many angles to catch it at because the coaster is hidden magnificently behind the trees. Yes, the Boss is something of a terrain coaster itself. As someone who loves taking footage, it is a bit bothersome, but it makes the ride experience all the more better and provides a ridiculous night ride. Overall, I love the Boss. Please stay away RMC, but if GCI wanted to give it the Ghost Rider treatment, I'd be down. It is very rough, however it adds to the coaster's intensity and isn't something that should instantly turn you away. For all of its amazing factors, I'm going to give it an 8.75 out of 10. If its ending was as good as my No Limits 2 creation that would rip off the track, it would get a 10. However, due to the hard trims and lack of interesting elements in the second half, I just can't make myself give it any higher of a score. If you have ridden the Boss, please tell me your thoughts on it and whether you agree or disagree with me. And if you aren't subscribed yet, like 82% of my viewers, please make sure to do so to help me hit my goal of 500 subscribers by July. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.